Hi guys, it's been quite a while. I hope you are all doing great. I believe everyone is doing just fine. Okay, so in one of my videos I made mention that I'll share some education with all of us about ovulation. And here we are today. So today we are going to look at ovulation, and in the course of this video we are going to know what ovulation is. We are going to know the factors that affect ovulation. We get to know how ovulation works, okay, and then we get to know the signs, or let's say the symptoms of ovulation. We also get to know about the phases, or the steps, or let me say levels, or something like that. Yeah, phases of ovulation. They will know the detection, how we get to know that we are ovulating. So that is what we are going to look at today. So stay tuned, go nowhere, okay? We are learning something new. Alright, so you're going to look at what ovulation is, okay? Ovulation is the release of an egg, a matured egg, okay, from the ovary into the fallopian tube, okay, where fertilization takes place. So they are cilia like they are like hairs. They will propel the egg, okay, right from the ovary into the fallopian tube to await fertilization. So briefly, that's what ovulation is. So once your eggs are matured inside your ovary, they get released into the fallopian tube, and that's what we call ovulation. Alright, so we look at factors that affect ovulation, and then these factors are stress, diet, or exercise. So they can actually affect. So when you are stressed, it can either cause a delay in your ovulation, or it can cause your ovulation to come earlier than usual. Same with diet, that like the food you eat, and same with exercises, okay. And also when you smoke, when you tend to smoke, it actually destroys, okay, the cilia. I remember I just mentioned that the cilia are what propel the egg into the fallopian tube, but this smoking, tends to destroy the cilia that propel the egg into the fallopian tube, okay. And then another thing is age, okay. The more you grow, the more you lose eggs. So ladies, from birth you are losing eggs, okay. So the more you grow, the more you lose eggs, and then the quality also reduces. So a young girl at the age of 20 would have better quality of eggs, as well as much eggs as compared to a woman of 30, okay. So it keeps on reducing. When you reach your 30s, the reduction is rapid, okay. So when your eggs gets finished, that is when menopause sets in, okay. So other stuff too can be drugs like brufen, and then some contraceptives as well. They can delay your ovulation. Yeah, they can delay ovulation. And then also when you have medical conditions or like illnesses, sometimes they are due to genetics, problems in the genes, and then sometimes could be any underlying conditions. We are going to look at those ones in the course of the talk. By the end of this video we will look at it as well. Okay, so let's look at something brief about how ovulation works, okay. So there are follicles, okay. These follicles are sacs, okay. They are sacs that contain the egg, okay. So when the follicles actually grow as well, okay. So when they grow with the eggs, okay. So when they develop, and then they release the eggs, okay. So when they release the eggs, they go into the fallopian tube, and then if they are fertilized by the sperm, they move straight to the uterus or the womb for implantation to occur. But if they are not, they actually degrade, okay. These eggs degrade, and all these changes are are actually caused by hormones. So let's move on to signs or symptoms of ovulation. Actually, some of these we are familiar with. Okay, so what actually goes on in your body? Okay, so you realize that your body temperature changes. Sometimes it goes low and then it comes up. Okay, and also sometimes you tend to have tenderness in the breast. Okay, it's like softer and it looks a bit bigger, okay, than usual, and it becomes more sensitive. Also, when you're ovulating, your cervical mucus, okay, that's a discharge from the cervix, okay, and it becomes thinner, stickier, like slippery, more slippery, and then clearer. Okay, it becomes, you see, egg, when you take an egg and you break the egg, not the yolk, the egg white, you see that kind of consistency. Yeah, that's the kind of consistency you get with the cervical mucus. And also the cervix opens a bit. So the cervix is actually the tip of the womb. Yeah, let me say is the gate to the womb. Okay, you can feel your cervix if you set your finger down there. So if you know your cervix, you have to know the texture of your cervix. As a woman, you have to know your body very well. So when you know the texture of your cervix, and then you get to realize that your cervix is opened. Yeah, I hope you understand. And also you can have some mild cramps, not like the normal menstrual cramps, but some mild cramps here and there in your lower abdomen, and then you realize that yeah, you're ovulating. Also, you can have spotting. I spoke about this in one of my videos. Spotting, or like small bleeding, blood, here and there. You can also find that. So basically, there are lots more. Okay, we ladies, our bodies differ. Okay, so doing all the signs that I mentioned, you might not see all of them. Okay, because our bodies are different. So I might have 3 or 4 of them, you might have just one. Okay, so you just have to know your body very well so that you know when there are any changes. So that's for the signs and symptoms. Now let's have a look at the phases of ovulation. Okay, so the first phase is the pre-ovulation or the follicular phase. Like I told you earlier, the follicles are the sac containing the eggs. So the follicular phase, that's where they start developing and all that. So during that time too, the uterus, starts preparing itself for pregnancy. So you see the wall of the uterus, or the womb, yeah, the uterus is also the womb, it actually begins to thicken. So it's like here, your mother-in-law is about to visit, so you start painting your house or your room. It's very similar. And then we have the ovulation period. That's the second phase in ovulation. We already know what happens, cervical mucus, spotting, tenderness in the breast. And then even during ovulation, you have increased sex drive. Okay, you actually yearn for sex more during ovulation. And then we have the post ovulation period, that's the luteal phase. And then during this phase that's after the ovulation, you might have mood swings, headache, and then acne or like pimples. Yeah. And then corpus luteum is actually formed within the ovary, as we can see in the images here. What it actually does is to produce progesterone. Okay, so it produces progesterone after ovulation. If there has been fertilization, this progesterone will support pregnancy. Okay, but if there hasn't been any fertilization, then this corpus luteum will just break, and then there will be a low level of progesterone, levels. Then that's what will cause menstruation. I hope you get it. So corpus luteum producing progesterone, and then progesterone supporting the fetus if fertilization has taken place. and if not, it breaks down and then we lose the progesterone, and that is what causes menstruation. I hope we all get it. Okay, so how do we know that we are actually ovulating, or how do we detect? So we can use a calendar method. Today, thanks to technology, we have cycle beads on our phones that we can get to track our cycle and then know when it's safe for us, and when you are actually in your fertile window. So when we say fertile window is actually the period in which you can get pregnant. So out of your fertile window, you can get your ovulation day. Okay, and ovulation, pregnancy can be, if you are in your fertile window and then you have sex, even if the day you had sex is not your ovulation day, you can be pregnant. You can become pregnant. Reason being that the sperms can stay like 3 to 4 days in your body. So you're in your fertile window, and then your ovulation day is like 3 or 4 days ahead, and then you have unprotected sex. The sperms can stay that long. Okay, so that can cause pregnancy. I hope you understand.
So as you can see in the image here, 8th to 17th day are the fertile window, and then the 14th day is the ovulation day. So if you have unprotected sex from the 11th day to the 13th day, any of these days you can get pregnant even if it's not on the 14th.
Yeah, and another way to, I spoke about the body temperature, so you keep on tracking your body temperature. You get to know how your body, the temperature of your body during your ovulation period and all that. You get to know, and then we get a ovulation predictor kit. So we have a kit just like pregnancy test kits. You check if you are in your ovulation period or not. Yeah, so you can also detect that through the fertility monitor. It's also a device to know if I'm in your fertile window or not. And you have to know your cervix. You have to know your cervix, just as I said before. So if you know the normal way your cervix is, and then during ovulation you insert your finger, you realize that your cervix, the tip of your cervix is open. And so I'll show you what a cervix looks like. So this is how it looks like. The cervix, that's the tip of the womb. So the last thing we are going to look at today is the disorders, some of the disorders, not all of them. I'm just going to look at a few, some disorders that pertain to ovulation. Okay, and then the first one we are going to actually look at is the polycystic ovarian syndrome. Polycystic ovarian syndrome, and then with this one, the ovaries are enlarged, and then you see some small fluid-like fluid filled cysts. When we say a cyst, is like a sac. Okay, so around the ovary you see those sacs filled with fluid, okay, on them, and then this leads to hormonal imbalance, because hormones are responsible for everything. So when your hormones are not properly balanced, it can lead to infertility. The second thing we are going to look at is the hypothalamic dysfunction, and then with that one, there are two hormones that actually stimulate ovulation. That is the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. So the follicle stimulating hormone is what we find during the follicular state, the pre-ovulation state, and then the luteinizing hormone is what we find at the luteal state or post ovulation state, as we already mentioned those two stages or the phases. Yeah, and then because they stimulate ovulation, if they are disrupted, they that's when this hypothalamic dysfunction occurs, and then this one can cause irregular menses or amenorrhea. Amenorrhea is when you don't bleed at all, you don't have your menstruation at all, and then this causes of this hypothalamic dysfunction are excessive physical or emotional stress. When you're too stressed, whether physical or emotional can cause that, and extremely high or low body weight. So when your BMI is too high or too low, body mass index, when it's too high or too low, it can cause that. Or when you gain weight too much all of a sudden, or lose weight too much all of a sudden, it can also cause hypothalamic dysfunction. And then also excessive exercise can actually cause that disorder as well. So basically, we talked about ovulation. We said ovulation is a release of matured egg from the ovary into the fallopian tube. Okay, and then we look at some factors that can affect ovulation. We said age can affect smoking, even alcohol can also affect us. Can affect our ovulation. And then we also looked at signs and symptoms of ovulation. Then we said your body temperature increases, you have tenderness in the breasts, and the whole other ones. We actually looked at some disorders as well. We looked at hypothalamic dysfunction, and then we looked at the cysts. Okay, and then we also looked at how to detect ovulation, how to know that we are ovulating. And then we said, check, you have to know your body so that you know whether your temperature is increasing or not. You can use the calendar to track your cycle, and then you can also use the fertility monitors as well, and then ovulation kits. Okay, so that's all we are going to do for today. I hope you learned something new from it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your time. If there are any questions, you can kindly drop them below the comment section, and I'll try my best to get them answered. Thank you very much. If this video actually was positive to you, then give me a like, and then you can share to others to help educate them as well. Thank you so much. I love you all. Enjoy your day. Bye.